Sagittarius, oh my gosh, you guys have the future, the future of today. You guys hold everything in your hands. You know it as well. There's like a future in your hands. There is something that you have, or somebody perhaps that you know that you spend time with, or somebody that left something behind for you that is the future. You got the future in your hands. You got the future in your hands, or there is something about you that is perhaps knowing as to what you do and do not want. And it is clear and it is possible and it is surprising and it is very clear and creative. You might, for example, have a sense of maternity already, even though you haven't even met the person. Or you might have a sense of security, even though you haven't yet gotten the job. You might have a feeling like you already know, and you can already kind of see where everything's going and where it is right and where it could never be. And it is not a personal thing, you can just see. And this is not about you or me, it is not about people, it is not about anything historical or not historical, and you don't need to apologize and hide this from anybody. You can just see it. Come on, this person is, and that isn't. But you might actually not be looking at things that aren't, like you just can't pay them attention. So have a look. So for example, if you got somebody with, and you can just not see them, like you can't see them, you gotta look at your phone, you know, it just look, just no. So if you've got a feeling like there is something and you have to walk away, there is a chance you got to do that. There is a chance you got to do that, unless you got a lot of Gemini in you and you are just being tricky. So have a look, or Cancer maybe, but have a look at how you are reacting to people and things. If you are not interested, and if you can't hear, like, you know, sitting in class, nothing sinks in. If there is nobody or nothing around you that stipulates, you've got to go, you've got to go. And if there is also something that does, you've got to let it know it does. Yeah, you stimulate me. But it has to be something that you do almost crazily for you, because I feel that you've become quite a subdued sign due to also Scorpio having so much power, 12th house, and also Saturn like riding high there in the last degrees of you. It is not easy to just be like, hi, I like this, or like, I want this job, or like, I like you. It's not easy, but you've got to do it, because you know what? Chances are everything around you is looking to you to kind of call out. Oh yeah, nah. You know, like everybody's looking to you, I feel, to give that righteous response where we can kind of see what's up. It's like, hey, do you think? And like, we might not ask you, but we're just waiting for you, because you are like the barometer, or like the metronome. You are the measure. It's like you are the measure. And you can see and you can feel and you can know time more than other people. So you don't have to be psychic for this, but chances are you kind of are at the moment. And if you are also doing a really good job of yourself, trying to keep composure, trying to keep things relative, trying to keep things kind. If you can see the future, if you're getting premonition, like you can see your children, you know what I mean, with this person, or like without this person, you could suddenly see a family home with someone, or you can kind of like suddenly see where a certain person's career is going. Please tell them. Please just go, look, I actually reckon, I know, like, this sounds crazy, but like, let people know where you're at, because we don't really understand. We're all kind of like, you know, traveling in different ways. We're building on our things. We're kind of like, you know, sort of scratching our head thinking, where did my future go? I can't see the future the same as I used to. I don't actually understand where I'm going next. And that's okay. So you have to tell the person that you like that you do, and the person that you don't, that can't be in the same room with that person anymore, and it is fine. And it is not really so much about you or them or anybody else. It is just basically about truth, which is permeating through you, and it is everywhere. It is everywhere. And this is very hard for us, because we can also be very, very coy around you suddenly, or almost like enjoy you as a master. And this is a very tricky little thing, because you can suddenly become a master of a person, or like a person that has masterful energy around just one or two people. So don't so don't take it too far into a person, because it's almost like you're injecting a person, or you're penetrating a person too deeply. So you've got the truth, you've got the sword, and you've got, you know, the Saturnian energy is like, you know, it's deep, and it's very, very strong. So I think you have to be very, very careful with us, and understand that we're also kind of gliding through time. We were also like, we're all like kind of babies learning, and perhaps you don't feel fit enough for something. Suddenly maybe you might feel like a child within the context of reality. You might feel I'm just a baby, I'm just learning, I can't call the shots, so I really don't know, and you're wanting to leave the ball on somebody else's field. That's really, really crazy, because you do, and you have to know more than us. If you are not sure, however, and you are actually genuinely unsure, and you're crazy, and you know you can't see right from wrong, and you can't affect anything positively, or you feel like everything that you touch you break, or there is like a breakability in other people, and you feel that fragility is like overhaul, you know, fragility or overhaul, then it's very nice to see a doctor. It's very nice to see a specialist, or somebody perhaps like you who can also teach you back. So very nice. I'm seeing rabbis for some reason, people talking to each other, so experts talking to each other. So you need to find an expert so you can level each other out and kind of see what's up. And it is very, very good to have a guru as a friend. It is very good to have a guru as a friend, because you are it, and not only you are it, you are on the top. So you might be on the top shelf for whoever is with you or without you, whoever is reaching out to you, even in the ether, which is hard. So like people dreaming about you, people thinking about you a lot, people doing things in their minds, you know, people praying for you, people doing like all sorts of crazy stuff. And it is very, very nice to say yes or no. And if you are somebody who's stuck in their head, and the yes or no, and you know, all that stuff, all the vortex is happening inside the brain, it is not easy to run away from yourself. So how you do it is get somebody else. So get another guru, get somebody else knowledgeable. We had the moon in the beginning of the month in Gemini. Somebody who is like you, somebody who's similar to you, that can kind of like chew up your ideas and spit them back. So having a very clear perspective of you is very, very good now if you are worried. So don't keep it inside, don't fester on anything, and also don't discount anybody else, but also know that you might know a lot more than we do at the moment, which is quite freaky for us. And a new thing for you is perhaps kids, projects, babies, new ideas, new things. These things have to stop. These things have to stop if you don't quite understand where your place is in the world, and where you're going as a collective mind at the moment. Actually, this is crazy. You have to stop thinking in terms of how you can produce the new, what else you can take on, what else you can sacrifice your time for, what else you can sacrifice within yourself, like sacrifice within yourself to bring something new into this world, because it can actually fall to pieces, or it can make something else fall. So if you are spending too much time on projects and you're not actually consistent, it's not a job and it's not easy, you may find that you don't really have the prosperity of the heart enough, or you don't have prosperity of the heart enough to really carry it through. So without having enough feeling, without having enough joy, without having enough bounce and zest and health and beauty and vitality, without is hard. Doing things outside of you is hard. Making things happen is hard. So also without is hard in the sense, because being without people is hard, but then being next to someone who you know doesn't mean a thing is very difficult too. And also in a situation where you don't know what things mean, and you are tricking yourself, or you are confusing yourself as to what you feel, that's really, really difficult. Any kind of situation where you are tricking yourself, and any type of circumstance where you just like minding your own business seemingly, but you're actually on fire, you're inflamed inside, or you don't actually understand what the situation is, it is a very, very slippery slope with any kind of psychotic issues, any kind of issues of the heart as well. All things where you're stretching yourself left, right, and center. You don't know what you've been, you don't know what you say, you don't know what to do, you don't quite understand which way is up, which way is down. That's okay. That's okay, but you have to find somebody or something that cares, and that can give you a lot back. So it's like not about being the father figure quite yet here. It's not quite yet about being the man or like the master over things, because it can become very weird. So either you can say, for example, decide to birth a baby, like birth a child that you know has defects. It could be, or like you could design for your life an option where you create a lot of things, a lot of projects that don't last, or that get damaged, or you know fall off walls and things like that, or like just disappear. Or you can become in love with somebody who is like a minion to you, and not actually a lover. So it is very, very important to connect to yourself and try to see that you're okay. Yes, you're a guru. You're always being guru. Sagittarius, every situation you are. And that's okay. You're the teacher. Yeah, that's good. The traveler, you know, the spirit, the wanderer. And it is very important, I feel, for other people as well, for us both, to create a nice pact with you that we don't actually really need you to be. but you are the best at it when you're not trying. So when you're not trying, when you're not carrying things too much and working too hard, and yes, to relieve yourself is important here. So if you need to cry, it's good to cry, to relieve your burdens, to drop down, to sit down, to sleep, you know, to get yourself clear, because you are the mind, and if you're the mind and people are relying on you, or people are connecting to you, and there is an attraction spectrum, or somebody is reaching out to you, especially if somebody's like a child, and you are sensing a feeling of, say, mother and son relationship or anything like that, you have to try and be still in order to hold space. You know what I mean? You got to try and be still in order to hold space, because it's like more needed for you to hold space than to do things, because I'm actually feeling that doing leads to nothing. And the most important part here is to try not to connect too much to things that you think you've got to or ought to create, and more to things that are perhaps not for you, and more towards things that are perhaps not yours. So it's actually really interesting, for example, to mind somebody else's child. It's interesting to care for somebody else's things. It's very interesting to take somebody else, like a person that is very perhaps influential, but also very, very separate from you somewhere. Like, for example, to carry cargo. It's interesting to carry for somebody else, to take something for somebody else, to be there for somebody else and know that it's not yours. So it is okay to be around people that aren't aspiring to you, aren't inspired by you, and also people that have to know that you're sturdy, so grounded from the ground up. So you have to be grounded to provide support, and it's got to be done not through action work or immense desire to be charismatic. It's got to be basically done through the heart, and the heart is, I feel, at its best when it's silent, and it is very, very nice, I feel, to be nurturing to yourself only, perhaps, unless you are working towards something that somebody else has got. But yeah, it's kind of not very straightforward, but basically what is designed for you this month, I feel, is very unfortunate or very crumbling if you aren't able to center your energy and to use it with great mind, you know. So if you aren't able to center your energy and aren't able to generate enough peace and resonance within yourself, I feel you can get drained, and you can get even taken to pieces a little bit, or you can have people almost like picking up pieces of you and trying them on, or you can actually be almost like demolished as a person, or there could be parts of you missing, or you could be feeling still like you're just half a person in the world. So things can disappear and reappear in other people's wallets. So for example, somebody does the same job as you, but they get twice the pay. Or like things can pass you by, things can just walk away, and things can just diminish very, very easily. So things can disassociate and disintegrate if you're not connecting to yourself in your whole Zen guru energy. So guru energy, guru Zen, the connection of time and space, the person that kind of knows what's going to happen next, the person that can see the future, and not to force anything onto anything else. So not to force, for example, if you just married, just met somebody, not to force a child to happen yet, you know. So marriage, partnerships, creation of the new, anything that you can see through space and time, anything where you can see yourself growing old with a person, has got to be very, very, very careful, and has got to be very, 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 very strong, and has got to be very much for yourself. And it's got to be very well planned, because sometimes things can happen and they lead you around and bring you nothing. So very, very careful planning, and try not to tremble. Try not to tremble at the side of things, because it's feeling to me that you're the strongest one, and you're the one with the most perhaps inward passion here than outward. And it should not be shared. How can I say? It should not be. It should be like your thoughts must be shared, must be known, but it shouldn't be splashed around at things that don't bring you a big difference later. So take your time, be more considerate of your actions, and know that your path is holy. Your path is holy, Sagittarius. And yes, a little bit of advert and a little bit of a different face of me is my books. I got books, so I don't just like talk up a storm, I also write a storm. And these are just the beginning of a little empire thing. Yeah. So basically, this is a book for 2018 Astrological Almanac, and it is a diary, and basically I won't show you too much, so it remains a mystery. It is a nice planner, and it is a very easy book to carry and hold, and it is a little friend for the year 2018. And it's your guide, it's your astrological guide, so you don't have to watch my videos, you don't have to read my blog, you don't have to, well, you can if you like, but here it is basically. Here it is, and it is very easy to carry and very easy to see. Thank you very much, and I hope that you are well, and I hope that you're having a great month ahead, and I wish you all the best, Sagittarius. Have a wonderful year. Bye.